Good morning. On my morning walk, if I don't blind myself with the light and run off the road, or if you see me swatting, this is the South, and so gnats are heavily attracted this time of year to something this early in the morning, nice and bright. But anyway, I'm concerned, y'all. There's been a lot of lately. I've noticed that it seems like there's been a big time attack, and I'm not talking about physically, although that may be happening in pockets of the world, but spiritually and character wise at Christianity and churches in general. And the attack has been kind of like, oh, look at you hypocrites, you need to be more aware, you need to be more with it as far as who you love. You say you're about love. You know, here's the thing. Love chapter, I said it in a previous one. It says, love does not delight or rejoice in wickedness, evil, wrongdoing. And so there are at certain points where love has to say, I can't go there. But here's the thing, Christian believer out there, and this is what I got to think about this morning. You know, if we are seemingly more and more engaged in a battle and a fight for the soul and the life of Christianity, then what I'm wondering is, how's your armor fitting? I got up this morning to walk. I put on these shoes, and it's a considerable amount of pounds on the frame, and my feet started hurting. Not in one of the plantar fasciitis or one of the common ailments known to runners and walkers, but just my feet kind of ached because of the extra added weight on them. And that got me to thinking, because I was doing the cosplay and the armor thing, what about the armor of God? And I looked at it in a new way this morning. It's one, there are three pieces that would get affected by lethargy and obesity that comes on with it, with consuming, and never submitting to the actual training and the activity of being a soldier. And so if you got obese in the military, there's three pieces that probably ain't gonna fit too well, or you're not gonna perceive them as fitting very well. One, the breastplate of righteousness. Okay, a breastplate, that piece of armor was well fit to the individual that wore it. And a lot of people try to use those sort of things as fake abs within the cosplay sort of thing. But the point is, you're not going to be comfortable. Well, you're not going to be thrilled with an ill-fitting piece of armor in the midst of a battle. And so there's that. Then there's the belt. I mean, a belt don't fit good in any situation where you have gained a lot of weight. The belt of truth, it says. So righteousness and truth, those two end up being affected by what is the body like that's underneath it. And then finally, the shoes don't really change a whole lot. I mean, we can go buying shoes whenever we're fat, ain't no big deal. But the added weight on your frame will make you feel like those shoes are terrible and uncomfortable, when really it's how much extra you have pressing down. So how does the spiritual soldier of Christ get fat? Well, Jesus gives us a good clue. He's fasting for 40 days out in the wilderness, and he's tempted and attacked by the enemy himself in the flesh, in person. And one of the first attacks he does is, because he knows he's hungry, because he's been on this long fast, is turn these stones into bread. And Jesus says a key important verse. He says, man does not live by bread alone, but every word that comes from the mouth of God. Now, you can't just sit there and read the Word of God. You'll die of malnutrition. Unless God calls you into some supernatural calling to do so. But spiritually, your primary nutrition is that Word. That's your MREs in this battle. And unfortunately, a lot of folks will shirk off the nice whole food of the Word of God and take on the processed MREs of this world, of philosophies and empty deceits that the world passes off as good theology or a good understanding about God. And what happens is, if we are a sedentary Christian who's not doing what the soldier of Christ is supposed to do, we're going to get fat, just like we see in the physical realm of our bodies. And then when we try to take up and put on our armor, guess what? That breastplate of righteousness don't fit so good no more. The belt of truth, we have to loosen that sucker up so that it's not even really doing its job very well, which was to hold up the undergarments and the flowing garments of a person that they wore beneath all that armor so that they wouldn't get tripped up on it. But the feet are the shoes of the readiness of the gospel of peace. And see, the gospel still always fits. But when you are that fat, obese, and out of shape spiritually, and you go walking in the shoes of the gospel of peace, it starts to hurt. It starts to not feeling so good. And when that happens, you're like, it must be the shoes. It's got to be the shoes. And so what do? You don't share the gospel. No, you share about how your feet ache, which may be related to some philosophy or some deceit that you've fallen prey to that's helped get you flabby. But you don't share the gospel. There are 3 pieces of armor that really, for the most part, don't change depending on your size. The shield of faith, the sword of the Spirit, and the helmet of salvation. And so, I know this one has been a little bit longer, but as we see Christianity in general and church and life being under more and more attack in the social world, how good's your armor fitting? I know both realistically and spiritually, in real life and in the spiritual life, I can say I definitely need to get in a little bit better shape. Till next time.